Hello, college algebra student. Quite a number of students ask me about interval notation when they are doing chapter 2 online homework, in particular for solving a inequality, but they have to write the answer in interval notation. So I'm just going to do a really short video to explain what is interval notation. Okay, so basically, this is a diagram that gives a very good example of how interval notation works. Basically, if I solve an equation and then at the end of the equation, x is greater than 5, then for drawing the number line, I would have it 5 in the open circle and all the way to infinity. So what happened is you will actually record this as a shorthand to what it is. So because I have 5, but not including 5, I use a bracket. And then, so that's the left side of this highlighted number line thing. Then on the right hand side is infinity. So I do infinity and it's the parenthesis. If I do x greater than equal to 5, then I would use the solid circle, right? Starting from 5 all the way to infinity. So my left hand side is a 5, my right hand side is infinity. Because on the left hand side, the endpoint is including 5, so I use a square bracket for including. So when you are doing solid dot, you use a parenthesis. When you do a open dot, infinity is always open because it's no end. If I do less than equal to or less than, then my left hand side is the negative infinity, right? So this is all negative infinity. So I write negative infinity first, open, and then I do 5 at the end. If it's just less than, with an open circle, I end with the parenthesis. If it includes 5, then I close with the square bracket. If I want to do in between, x is between 1 and 5, so I'll graph it like this with the 1 and 5 at the two ends. So I just record 1, which is the left, and record 5, which is the right. Comma is just like in between, right? So because this is open or in both the left and right, I use parentheses in both left and right. 1 comma 5 means 1 all the way to 5. These are the variation in case you want to do uh, less than or equal to is a solid dot, then you change the left hand or the right hand with a square bracket. So basically that's how it works for a simple linear inequality. And these are for if you are doing OR. So we don't need it in college algebra for the time being. I think um, later on we will need it when we do chapter 3.2. So for example, just do an example. I want to solve x plus 1 greater than 3. So I minus 1, so be x is greater than 2. I'm going to graph it. So I would have 2, not including 2, but okay, everything that is greater than 2, right? So that means the left-hand side is 2, the right-hand side is infinity. I don't include 2, so I use parentheses, 2 all the way to infinity. So this is the interval notation. Okay, the second one, if I add 2 to solve x minus 2 less than 6, I add 2, x would be less than 8. To graph the number line, I put 8 and I put a open circle all the way to the left hand side because all less than 8. And on the left boundary is the negative infinity, the right boundary is 8. So I write negative infinity all the way to 8. You can think of the comma is like all the way like that. If they are equal, then you use square bracket, right? For example, I have a x is in between 4 and 9, but including 4. So when I graph it, I will have 4, but because it includes 4, I solid dots it, and this 9 doesn't. And it's in between them. So the way I do it is, what is the left-hand side? It's not infinity. It's actually 4. So I do 4. And what's the right-hand side? Is 9. So that's how you do interval notation.